Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on October the 26th. On Monday, October the 26th. There we go. That's what I'm saying. Hope you're going to have a wonderful long weekend. Yes, it's Labor Day today. Yes, if you were booked in on the pre-booked in show, it was for 8 a.m. Sorry, folks. Yes, we're live at 7 a.m. every morning, and I've got to set the time wrong last night. In the news today, we'll be looking at the cycling at both the Giro d'Italia and the Vuelta España. We'll be talking about netball ahead of the New Zealand versus England series that starts on a Wednesday. We'll be giving updates on the rugby, as well as the LPGA and the PGA tours. There was UFC over the weekend, as well as motor racing within the Grand Prix and also the IndyCar as well. So in Formula One and the IndyCar as well. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And we come to you at 7 a.m. every single morning here on New Zealand Sports Radio. So starting off with the cycling, and in the Giro d'Italia, Tao Geoghegan Hart and Jai Hindley both entered the final day on equal time. 20 days of racing could not separate the two of them. And the final day was a time trial into Milan. Congratulations to Tao Geoghegan Hart of Ineos Grenadiers, who beat Jai Hindley of Sunweb by 39 seconds to take his first Grand Tour victory and its biggest, his first World Tour victory, I believe, as a professional cyclist. He came in as the support rider for Geraint Thomas, who crashed out on stage 3, and went on to change, obviously, his targets and win the overall race. His teammate again won the actual time trial, the stage overall, to make it to win all 3 of the time trials and 4 stages in total, with Ineos Grenadiers taking 7 stages in total. I'll be looking at doing a for your ears only video talking about the evolution of Team Sky / Ineos Grenadiers, because yes, this season has seen them react very differently in tours, Grand Tours, as they have done previously. It was a very good day for Ineos Grenadiers, because over at the Vuelta España, Richard Carapaz took the overall lead on stage 6. It was 18 stages at the Vuelta España, down 3 due to COVID. So Richard Carapaz taking the lead off Primoz Roglic of Jumbo-Visma. There were a number of attacks on the final climb. Ion Izagirre won the stage. So now he has a full house of Grand Tour stage victories, after also winning in the Tour de France in 2016 and the Giro d'Italia in 2012. He attacked after his brother had first attacked, and then as riders were going out the front and Roglic wasn't responding, Richard Carapaz attacked to take over the overall lead. The other big winner was Hugh Carthy, who climbed up to 2nd overall in the standings. So yes, some fireworks there at the Vuelta España over in Spain. Looking at the netball, and that's the 3-match series against England. Will start on Wednesday evening. 3 test series, sorry, Wednesday evening here in Hamilton. And the side has been the 12 team 12 strong team has been selected, with just one Cats player, Monica Faulkner, coming back from injury, has been named in the side. She got to prove herself during that Cadbury series with games against the under-21 and New Zealand men's sides, to put herself into the standings. So congratulations to her. Moving on to rugby then, and over the weekend we had Mitre 10 Cup action, Farah Palmer Cup action, and international men's and women's action up in Europe. As went through a full review show last night, going through all of the games, but the highlights are that Canterbury will be playing Waikato in the Farah Palmer Cup final after they both won their semi-finals. Both Canterbury and Waikato are undefeated so far this season. So the winners of the South Division hosting the winners of the North Division in that one. Also, Hawke's Bay defended their Ranfurly Shield, and Waikato's win over Taranaki 27 to 20 saw them go top of the Premiership in the Mitre 10 Cup. In the Six Nations, Ireland beat Italy 50-17, and in the Women's Six Nations, Ireland beat Italy again 21-7. And I'll just look up the Scotland-France result from that, because that also took place this in the early hours of this morning, with Scotland drawing with France 13-all. That is a big surprise. France, one of the top sides in the world, so a big surprise there, that draw with Scotland. And really that paves the way for England. England have got a comfortable trip now to win the overall Women's Six Nations. I'm going to hand you over to Stephen now. It's going to, do we have birthdays this morning, Stephen, or are we going straight into our NRL update?
Yeah, good morning, Paul. Good morning, everybody, to tuning into New Zealand Sport Radio. Good to be back on the show, Paul. But no birthdays this morning. We're going to go straight into our NRL. Well, the Melbourne Storm are the 2020 NRL champions, and they look to have it under control. They led by 22 points to nil at halftime, but went on to win by 26 points to 20, despite a late thrilling comeback from the Panthers. And of course, it was a great way to finish for the veteran captain, Cameron Smith, who picked up his third title, being the oldest winner, 37 years and 129 days in the history of the game. The honour very nearly disappeared in front of his eyes as the Penrith Panthers mounted an extraordinary comeback that set up a thrilling play where the Panthers had one last chance to score an extraordinary length of the field try, and that would have sealed one of the most unlikely wins. But it was the Melbourne Storm who were the deserved winners at the end of the day. Earlier, the Panthers had been left dead in the water as the Storm ran out to a 26 points to nil in the second half. The Panthers scored the last 4 tries of the match after a series of controversial calls went against the Melbourne Storm. The second half saw halfback Jerome Hughes sent to the bin with 9 minutes left on the clock after the NRL bunker had performed a professional foul by taking out Viliami Kikau. Now, there wasn't a lot in this, and I thought it was very controversial at the time. So the Storm very much ended the game with only 11 players on the paddock. Now, it was a very good start, like I say, from the Melbourne Storm, heading out to that 22 points to nil. And Penrith, to be fair, seemed a bit unlucky because one of those tries coming from an intercept as well. But really, it was a case of too little, too late. Cameron Smith, very emotional at full time as he talked to his team about his incredible defence when it mattered the most. Geez, we did it the hard way. There were 11 men in the end, said Smith, but he always knew Penrith would come back, and I think for a young side, they will bounce back. So our 2020 NRL champions, the Melbourne Storm. Bad luck for the minor premiers, Penrith, who look, downright unbeatable, and of course they don't get to crack that record. They'd won 17 in a row, Paul. So that is it's probably going to be a bit of a tough one for this young Penrith team to swallow. at this sort of point of the season. I'll just have a quick look at just before we go. I'll have a quick look at anything happening in the Betfred Super League. Overnight we had the Wakefield Trinity beating Hull Kingston Rovers. I'll have a quick look at that at table. St Helens still leading the Betfred Super League table. They've got 24 points. Wigan 22, Catalans 16, and Warrington, who are sitting on a 20. In fact, that's really weird, this points table, although how I'm looking at this, the Catalans have only played 12 games. So that's all our league news this morning. If you're a Melbourne Storm supporter, you'd be celebrating very, very hard, Paul.
Yes, absolutely. And the reason, the way to read that table is by percentages of wins, which is really, as you say, it's very unusual way to have to read a table, but that's because of the COVID games that have been won and lost, or sorry, they're being cancelled. Don't forget to join Brad on Wednesday evening as he'll review all of the action from that grand final on the Standoff show. So Wednesday at 8 p.m. for that one.
Paul, just before I go too, I'm just sort of looking at the weather forecast around Auckland. It's a high of 20 degrees, but it is the third day of the Labour weekend. If you're driving back to your destination, please take it easy. You know, you want to get back to your destination on time, and just for the sake of a few minutes, just drive carefully out there, everybody. Yep,
better to be late than not arrive at all, folks. So yes, do drive safely and make sure you do get home. So thank you very much, Stephen, for your updates this morning. Moving on then to the golf, and in the LPGA, it is the what's the tournament this I've gone blank as to what the actual tournament is, but Lydia Ko is out on the course in the fourth round. It's the LPGA Drive On Championship, sorry folks, and Lydia Ko is out on the course in the fourth round. She's through the 12th hole. Currently she's tied in ninth at 8 under par. Ali McDonald is in a pretty dominant situation, 3 shots in the lead at 16 under par there. So decent round, or decent tournament for Lydia Ko, and not quite challenging for the overall title. Over in the Zozo Championship, we've had with 3 rounds in, final round to go, and Danny Lee is 75th in this one. So having a tough old tournament. Looks like there's no cut in this one, but hey, he's in 75th. Tiger Woods there, Phil Mickelson both on tied at 68th. So yes, some big names down the leaderboard on that one. Moving on then to the cricket, and don't forget to join Swinging from the Hip with Arsenal at 8 p.m. This evening, looking at the Plunket Shield, and we'll have 3 games will kick off on Wednesday. The Auckland Aces will take on the Central Stags, the Canterbury will take on Wellington Firebirds, and Northern Districts take on Otago Volks in the Plunket Shield there. Over in the UFC, and Khabib Nurmagomedov, and sorry, I have absolutely butchered that pronunciation, but the unbeaten lightweight champion won with a chokehold in the second round, and then retired from fighting in the UFC undefeated. So 29 wins there. So congratulations to him. And some people are saying that, yeah, he's in the conversation for the best fighters of all time in the UFC. So good a good victory for him there in that second round. Looking at this one in the middleweight, which was a main Robert Whittaker beat Jared Cannonier on a decision after it went the full 3 rounds. In the heavyweight, it's lower on the card, heavyweight, Alexandra Volkov beat Walter Harris with a knockout in the second round. Jacob Malkoun in the middleweight division beat Philip Hawes in a very quick one after 18 seconds in the first round with a knockout. In the women's flyweight, Lauren Murphy beat Ilya Shakurova by submission in the second round, and the final fight, so in the light heavyweight, Magmedev and Ankaleev beat Ion Kutzbilbauer by knockout in the end, towards the end of the first round. Moving on to motorsport, and in the Portuguese Grand Prix in Formula One, Lewis Hamilton beat his teammate Valtteri Bottas to win that race, with Max Verstappen in the Red Bull in third. And this win meant that Lewis Hamilton won his 92nd career Grand Prix victory in Formula One, taking him to the all-time leader now in Grand Prix victories, moving one clear of Michael Schumacher. So congratulations to Lewis Hamilton in that one. Over in the USA and in the IndyCar, we've had qualifying for the final race of the season. Australian Will Power has taken pole, with the Kiwi Scott Dixon, who is the leading the series. He qualified down in 11th, so not a great qualification for him. The defending champion and his nearest rival, Jeff Newgarden, will be starting in 8th. Scott has got to finish 7th or better to make sure that he wins the title. Finally, Scott McLaughlin, who obviously just come off the back of winning the supercars in Australia. This is his first IndyCar race, has qualified in 21st after having a brush with the wall during qualifying. So that's, as he says, he just needs more time in the cars to get used to them. He couldn't, no excuses for what happened. So you have now started the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. Don't forget to join us at 7 a.m. every single morning live on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, or you can listen to the podcast on the go. Just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on your favourite podcatcher, iTunes, Spotify, all of those wonderful places. Have a wonderful Labour Day, everyone. I'm off to work.